play, all of that. It's going to be tough. Because now I belong to neighborhood. I don't have that one person there anymore that kept an eye on me to make sure that I want to lead that porch. So, come on, fellas. Get real out here. See this book? It's my 3rd grade spelling and vocabulary book. That year, I spent a lot of time in solitude. Just had no motivation to go to school no more, to learn. My teacher told me, your writing and reading and math levels are so low, you need to stay back at grade. You're not going to make it. I gave up. I just wanted to start hanging with the older boys. Playing a little football in the streets, doing whatever they do. Just being involved. I didn't know nothing. I'm young. I don't have that it factor no more, that structure. And so I made some poor decisions. I'm not gonna lie to you. Started getting involved with the wrong stuff. It almost cost me my freedom, cost me my life at a very young age. But with God, and with football, and with having a father that's been through the system and trying to save me from that, brought me back to life, right? I had an opportunity to right all my wrongs, all the character issues that I started to develop, friend groups I started to kind of see like, he's not really for me. He's not really, I see what my dad's talking about now. It all started to kind of make sense once I transitioned from junior high school, skipping class now, not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, dibbling, dabbling, and this and that. And God gave me the opportunity to take a leap of faith over to the other side of the tracks in Fort Lauderdale and go to private school and get out of the neighborhood. Save my life completely. Started with academics first again. And that teacher in 3rd grade, she was wrong. I made A's and B's non-stop, consistent from that point moving forward. Because I knew I had to get back to the code, stick to the code, take off the coat, take off all the cap, just remove it all. Because dream, calling, my passion, my purpose is way bigger than everybody else's. They would always tell me that. You're the chosen. You're chosen. We getting out of the system. As far as we gonna go is head up in the grass or head up on the concrete. We ain't gonna never play no organized football. That's gonna be you. You got the gifts. You're intellectual. You're smart. You can do it. So I started to believe in myself again, as others started to believe. But the biggest change that was made was God blessed me with that brother that I was telling you. That older brother that stepped in and said, I don't want to see you go through the things that I went through. See, my brother was a walk-on at South Carolina State. So his mentality, he's 5'10", 5'11", full of anger and piss and vinegar because he's short. Just being real. And I'm the brother that's 6'3", with all the potential, I'm not using. I'm squandering. My confidence is up and down because I'm listening to others. You know, I don't believe in myself fully yet. And the abilities that God has placed in me, I'm still playing with it. I'm distracted. Mentally, I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? And so I was just taken by the fact that I hadn't even played a real snap yet. Coach B gave me an offer in 10th grade. First ever offer. And played linebacker, I didn't know anything. I was a 160-pound safety in 9th grade, getting roasted at camp. You can look it up. Amari Cooper did me in twice. I was like, yo, I didn't know who Amari Cooper was, but I found out that day when I lined up. I tried to lunge and whoop. I'm like, oh man, safety not for me. I'm going to linebacker. I'm gonna get in the box. Be smart. I'm use my athleticism and all my talents in different ways. So that's what began to happen. I began to become motivated again by school. Those A's and those D's, making that honor roll, and having that older brother there that made that commitment and that sacrifice to say, I'm my brother's keeper. I'm not going to let you fail. We're going to succeed regardless. And that's what turned me into an animal, mentally. I mean, non-stop working out, grind. That's partying, excuse my language, coach. That's hanging out with kids in the neighborhood that, I mean, at the end of the day, Harry told me, we don't got the future that you got. We are already 10 steps behind. We can't stay out of the system. You're the only one that's been able to beat it because you got a dad that gave you the code, you got a grandma that gave you the code, and you got an older brother that's making you stick to the code. I have support. I have a team. But that's not all you need in life. You need a little bit of motivation, a little bit of why. So I'll tell you what happened. Going into my senior year, my coach said, getting recruited all over the country. It's great, loving it. But I wasn't really enjoying the process because all the hard work and everything that I put in, I started to realize I'm gonna have to redo it all over again when I get to the next level. So I was never satisfied. I just couldn't get satisfied. And what brought me back from that, one of my senior years, I've accomplished so much already. And what's gonna push me to keep going? Best friend growing up got murdered. In my senior ball camp. That's 2 houses down from me. It was in the streets really hard. We weren't kicking it, we weren't nothing anymore. And that was by choice because I said, these relationships with people that aren't for you serve as a distraction, not as assets. Coming home from practice that day, seeing that yellow tape around the neighborhood and dragging his body out, 3 shots to the head, like Russian style. They came in, got it. Done. All the day. Only one for Steve. I knew then that pain, I was going to have to dig deep, like the fries at the bottom of that McDonald's bag. I was going to dig deep, refocus, recommit, on the side, and make some decisions that were gonna not only impact my life, but impact my entire family's life. Break generational curses, friends. Decide that that's not really what I'm looking for in life as a friend. Write this down. Help me. You want a life jacket. Somebody that when you're drowning, toss it out there and you put it on and it brings you back afloat. Buoyancy, right? You're in the water, the way to stay afloat is not to panic. When you get in those situations where you're losing direction because you're distracted. Find you a life jacket. Find you somebody that's not just a friend to you, but somebody who's a value add that's going to keep you going, keep pushing you nonstop. Grind. And that person is my brother. I was blessed. And as I had much success throughout high school, I also had moments where I had to grow up. I had to develop my character. Now, Coach mentioned the story about me being committed to Notre Dame and waiting last minute, but not come here to Clemson. I had serious commitment issues, fellas. I did not know how to block out family getting in your ear, trying to tell you which way you should go, coaching, trying to get. I was just at a point where it was like, man, I'm just fed up with this process. But I know where I really want to go. That's the God's country promise land, Clemson. Coach will tell you, came down, probably on his private jet, all lathered up, came in the house, talking good. I'm like, Coach, let's go. Ready, let's get us a natty. First year. But when I got here, I remember the day I got dropped off. My brother said to me, LeBron, I don't know what your fight gonna be. But every day you want to fight for your respect and your manhood. I promise you that. That's the only way you're gonna gain some rank. I thought to myself, I said, okay, I'm here now. Now what? What was older ones? Thought I was gonna come in, fellas, and rip it from the beginning, right? Because mentally, I know what my code is. I know what I'm made of. I know what's in me, but it just wasn't for me yet, right? So I had to learn some patience. Came in, slapped that red shirt on him, B220 coat, get him in power hours. These older boys, they some dogs up front. They grown, they big. Stuff. All that I had done, I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm not gonna do it right off the bat. Those are the things that happen. So I want to stop and pause for a second because I know we're at that point in camp and at that point in some of y'all's development where I want you to really be able to connect with the fact that it really takes a strong person made of a different moral fiber to deal with coming into a situation and hitting that wall and then overcoming that wall with mental force. A lot of y'all in here, man, quite sure y'all come from great backgrounds, great football players. You want it bad. Sometimes you gotta be patient. And what's for you, remember, will be for you. So as my journey began to unfold, I realized I really have to put the work in, right? Like I gotta get back grounded to things that I was taught. I gotta finish with some of my play. I can't get mad. I can't get upset and go blame a coach when I'm frustrated. All this stuff. I gotta put the work in every day and power on. Get that weight up, drink those shakes, do what I gotta do. But along that way, it's always some stuff. And so, red shirt, I'll tell you this, and write this down. Delay is not denied. Delay is not denied. It's gonna take some time for you to isolate it. When coach is not looking at you no more, he's not talking to you every day. And you still gotta be in that playbook. Coach B, office, they expect y'all to be in this building, still putting in that work. Because when spring comes, and obviously we know we in that time period of transformation, and that come around again, and it's your opportunity to step back on that field, you better be ready. Stay ready, so now get ready. Throughout that whole process, I never thought that it would lead me to the point where I just felt as though I never was about to get called, put in all the work, as you can ask for smoke. There was a time period where it was hard for me to develop and gain the weight that I needed to gain, right? And it was frustrating because I had a limited amount of time, but I needed it to happen now. I wanted it to happen now. But it took for me to say to myself, It's going to be a daily process of committing to my goals that I said I wanted back when I was first starting out on my journey. So it took me a year, fellas, to gain that whole 25 pounds to get up to 250, 255. I'm just talking to Coach Moore about this. I said, Coach, he said to me, he said, remember that summer when your freshman year, when you gained all that weight, when you got to that point where you were strong enough, you were confident, you were building up the beat? Yeah, Coach, but you know what that took? Every day, getting up, drinking those shakes, to the point where my stomach full, my eyes getting bigger than my stomach again, throwing up constantly, throwing up, but I'm still going. Next workout, the next day, because I want it that bad. I want my opportunity to count. That's the same mentality, the same mindset every day. I'm not going to lose the faith in myself. I'm going to control what I can control and let the rest be. And you may get frustrated sometimes. Everybody does. But that's when you got to silence that inner critic. You got to tell him, take a seat. I got this. It's June 3rd, 2017, as y'all saw. It was me asking myself, what are your deepest fears? As I'm laying up in the hospital bed after this car accident. Lord, not why me, why not me? You promised that you would save me through it and not from it. Everything that I've said I've stood on with all 10 toes, I still have to stand on that, even in the midst of sudden change. I know y'all know about sudden change. Sudden change period, probably coming up more. But I knew I had to accept what came with that pain. And that wasn't easy. That was not easy to accept. See, we put ourselves so high up on the pedestal sometimes that when you have those moments of separation from the things that you once said that you wanted because it's harder to get there now than it was originally, it's called falling in love with the process. That's where you find your happiness. That's where you really spark your passion to go after something with everything you got. So I attacked that rehab process with that same mentality that I had prior to the accident. Every day, read scripture, wake up, go work out, eat, class. Graduated 3 years, undergraduate degree. Double back, graduated again, master's degree. Because I knew that no matter what, if I wasn't able to play football again, I still needed my education. I still needed to maximize opportunities that all of us have in this room. And that's what's most important. Because as a man, when you get on the other side, because that's what I was faced with, football wasn't in the cards anymore. So I thought, after trying to make a miraculous comeback, fight every day. And that's what Big Bro told me. He said, you're going to have to fight for something. I don't know what it's going to be. Those words stuck. Sticking to the code. Sticking to the code. So as I reached the point pretty much of no return, I came back. It's funny, being in the indoor the other day. That was the first time I've been in the indoor since I've gotten rolled out of there. When I tried to make a full comeback and practice, kind of around this time, in 2018, I partially tore my labrum. We wanted to make a routine tackle. I think we were going to wrench at the time. And the neck was messed up again, nerves bad, everything. I'm in that same position that I was in when the car accident happened. God, why me? I tried so hard. I thought I stuck to the code. I'm trying to finish what's on my plate. I'm trying to stay focused. why do you keep taking me away from something that I love and that I really want to do? Because keep in mind now, I'm not trying to work in 9 to 5. I don't really want to do that. I don't want to go punch the clock. I want to go to the NFL. That's my mindset. That's my goal. I'm not giving up on Plan B and going to Plan B. I don't want to do that. But there comes a point in a man's life where adversity introduces a man to himself. That's when you affirm your identity and who you are and separate your brand from your character. Because your character has to come from your brand in order for your brand to be able to sustain, but you're constantly building your character, so that's where the development portion comes in. And the brand enhancement takes a back seat. And so for me, that brand enhancement came after now having went and gotten that surgery that was mentioned, and having that second opportunity to play at Boston College. Come out of nowhere, literally. I mean, fellas, I'm in the midst of having surgery. I'm panicking because I'm about to have my first kid. I really was not 100% ready for everything that was being thrown at me. But remember, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So I had to handle manhood on top of still trying to go after my scholarship and, protect myself by saying my mental has to stay strong. I got to take care of my mind now. My mind is the most powerful asset that I have that's going to be able to propel me to maximize this next opportunity as I switch brands. As I take off the ball and make an honest decision to go and play for Boston College, I have to take into consideration I'm still me. Just because I'm not here at Clemson playing anymore, I'm still me. The standard is still championship level attitude, championship level football. Stick it to the code. That's what it is. So as I arrived at BC, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was never an easy walk. It didn't get easier. It's just a man's got to do what a man's got to do. I signed up for it. Now I got to finish what's on my plate, no matter what comes up. So when I got to BC, I put on notice. I had partial tear, calf, and then my hamstring on my left side. Knee started acting up on me again. Started having neck nerve issues and my shoulder. So I was a limited participant in fall camp once again because of a slew of injuries and things that were trying to serve as a distraction, but I kept using it as fuel. See, I got used to fear of, man, what if I get injured and coach asks me, can I go? Can I still go? Yeah, I can go. Knowing I can't, but yeah, I can go. Because that was just my mentality. I wanted it that bad. I wanted it as bad as air. We all need air. We all need air to breathe. That's how bad I wanted it. So when I had the opportunity to suit up, I wasn't going to take the suit back off because I was scared, because I was dealing with so much. I had to work too hard to get back to this point in my life. And so when I had that opportunity, I didn't want to take it for granted. I didn't want to take it for granted. I knew my why now. My why was, I'm now a baby, I got a baby, and I got to make something shake at this point. I can't play around. I have to put myself in a position where not only did I get brands, but I develop more as a man. Because what you do is you use those obstacles as stepping stones, those injuries, those moments of fatigue. I don't feel like I can do it no more. You stand up and you handle what's on your plate, as a man should. So as I continued along that journey, right, week after week, my goal was never to say, oh, I'm going to become a Brian Piccolo Award winner. right off the bat. Or, and I want recognition for what I'm doing. It was for the love of the game, the passion, the drive. I knew my why. I knew everything was on me. I had to double down and bet on me. Coach Lee could tell you. He said, you have nothing to prove to me. I'm going to love you regardless of if you strap it up or not. I said, Coach, strap it up. I got to do what I got to do out here. And I'm still pursuing something bigger than myself. So I did that. Had a good run at BC in terms of realizing that it's bigger than football, always bigger than football. Even post BC, as I began working out and training for the pros, I realized it's not about the NFL no more. My NFL can be me serving others, because keep in mind now, that's what life is turning into for me. When you become a father, someone significant other that they believe and trust in, your son, all these different titles and things, you got to be held accountable and responsible. So now as I stand in front of y'all as a grown man, at the age that I am, 25, I can tell you, looking back on the journey, it wasn't always easy, but it was worth it. It was worth it. As you pursue your destiny, as you pursue your calling, your greatness. And as you think about it, code, you stick to it, it's in you. Not for you. It's in you. And it's for you. Both. Not this. So I want to take a moment to let you guys ask me questions. I know we've been digging deep going into this thing. Q&A. Anything maybe you want me to touch on a little bit more?
I'll say something. Ran inspector, wide receiver. What was your daily process and mindset? Recovering from the neck injury. What was your process taking?
That's a good question. The process for me was not simple, right? Because as I mentioned fear, and as I mentioned, not wanting to disappoint family, not wanting to, fall short of the things that I originally set out to do, I had to realize that I was just lying to myself, telling myself that it was going to be easy to do what I needed to do. I had to depend on a higher source. I'm not going to lie to you. I had to really get my faith and my life intact to a point where I was mentally resilient enough to commit to a process of creating new habits. I mean, obviously, I wasn't able to do much for quite some time. I was stuck in the bed a lot. All I could do was really read and, try to serve and help my teammates at times. And it was very frustrating. But to your question, I wasn't going to let nothing break me. And that's where you got to start. Let nothing break you. Got to remain solid.
Gary, redshirt running back. Just want to say I'm proud of you, bro. It's been cool. Like, Marlon Fisher came back to last week. Obviously, you here at coach. It's been cool to see your journey. You become a man. Especially when it talks about social media, bro. Questions I got are two. What was the biggest difference between Clemson and BC? And the second one, who here had the BC factor?
We'll start with the second question. Everybody played a part. I mean, to be honest with you, Rich, the energy is so pure. Like, when I got off my flight and I'm driving into Clemson, right, from Greenville, I'm just thinking to myself, man, wow. I know it sounds cliche. It's just something in these hills, like this time of year, leaves are falling, things are changing. So I did a tour over in the area, and I ran into some old folks, Matt and all those guys, that laid a foundation in support services and academics, and still to this day, that holds me up. And then you come over here with Paul Journey, obviously JD, man, there's so many times I've gone to JD office and said to myself, man, I don't know if I can do it. I'm going through it. JD picked me up. Same with Coach. Same with Coach Bates. Same with Coach Ski. Like, I mean, man, this Clemson family thing is real. But you got to buy in. That's what I would say. What was your other question, Rich?
What's the biggest difference between here and BC?
I think the biggest difference between here and BC, right? If I'm just putting it out there and being honest. It's a different structure as far as how the resources are broken up. Clemson Football, we're blessed to have our own island that we reside on and function and operate our own way, our own food, our own people, such and such. See, at BC, a little bit different. It's a highly prestigious academic institution, so the mindset isn't so much of, putting football ahead of other sports and everything. You kind of fall in line. And that's a little bit different than it is here. Like, we kind of feel a little bit more, up because we're playing at a high level and things. And so my experience, I didn't realize how much I took for granted. Like, even when I came back in today, and I'm sitting down, we got all this wonderful food. I'm eating, I'm like, man, it's just so good. Not saying anything against BC, but we just didn't have those type of resources. And, all that extra stuff that y'all got with recovery. Everything that y'all have, man, y'all are blessed. Y'all really blessed.
Anybody else? Rich, proud of you, man. And just so y'all know, kind of, how he got to BC. He was here 5 years. I said, he was going in to be a starter. Going in to be a starter that summer of 17. I'll never forget it. We were in camp. We were in high school camp. Never, ever forget it. And he had gone off to Greenville. We get a call that night, and we were thankful he was alive. And really didn't know, didn't have many expectations. And he was out a whole year. And he was here 5 years, right? And he was gone. He had his master's degree, and he was out of here. He's out living his life. Remember that? Mm-hmm. He called me like in.
We're having a kid.
Yeah, he's having a child, and he calls me like in April, May. It's like May. And he's telling me, he's been gone, and we're well into getting ready to play a season. And he tells me he's had this surgery, thinks he might have a chance to play again. I said, have you lost your mind? I said, pitcher. And we had this long time. I said, no, Coach, I think I can do it. But, pitch. He's like, I just need your help. And so anyway, we talked about, I tried to get him to maybe stay close to home. Next thing you know, he calls me back and he says, what about Boston College? I'm like, Boston College? I'm just going, man. And next thing I know, I got a Dazio calling me. And I'm like, look, listen, this kid has been through a lot. All right? And I said, he was, you don't just look up and have a chance to be a starter at Clemson. You got to be a pretty damn good player to have a chance to start here. And I said, he's in line. I said, man, I said, so he's got it in him. I said, but Steve, he played football over 2 years. I was like, man, this is and we had this long talk, and man, not only did he play, but he played well. And
He won the Brian Piccolo Award. That's the comeback player of the year. It's a really, really prestigious award and a big deal. And you know, I was able to be at the banquet when he got the award, and that was a pretty special moment. So it's like I told him, man, he's got degrees from here, and always one of ours. And he took everything he had, and I don't have any. I told him that. I said, man, you go help somebody there. He took everything he had. I know he's blessed some other people at BC. You know, first time he's had a chance to come back and speak to the team, and I hope you guys took some of those things away and can relate to a little bit of his journey. All right, but it takes passion. Gotta love it, but it takes perseverance too. All right, it takes passion and it takes perseverance. Because I promise you, I don't care what it is, everybody's gonna want to quit somewhere along the way. Everybody. Y'all look at Nolan Turner now. It's like I just laugh. It's like Nolan pulls a hand here. Oh, I'm gonna do that. And if y'all saw him as a freshman, everybody's like, "The hell's that guy doing? He's terrible." This is not I'm just being honest with you. He wasn't confident. He wasn't very strong. He didn't have a lot of confidence. He wasn't really sure he belonged. You know? And now he's an All-American safety. But here's why. He had passion. It takes both of those things. You can't just have one. It takes both. Look at Justin Ross, what he's been through. He's got passion. And he's persevering. Right? It takes both. You can't just love it. You got to have some perseverance, because if you think you ain't gonna have a bunch of challenges along the way, and that's what football prepares you for. It prepares you for life. You're gonna have a lot of challenges in life. A lot. All right. But Rich, we appreciate you. Proud of you, man. And he's also giving back and prepping some kids that you know got some challenges, and he's trying to get them ready to go to junior college. Give them a path. They ain't coming to Clemson. He's trying to get them a chance to go to junior college and get them on a different path academically, give them some skills, life skills, trades, teach them how to play football, and it's just awesome. So let's give them 3-on-3. 1, 2, 3. All right, man. All right, we got second. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.